from us. And I want you, we can bring it on the floor. Never danced like this before. We don't talk about it.
It's cracking. We're back. Today we're going to be looking actually at I'm trying to fit this. We're going to be looking at another installment of our series on Team Building University. Today looking at physical tanks. Keeping in mind, a physical tank is a Pokemon that deals out physical hits, not necessarily taking physical hits. That said, some of these Pokemon can take physical hits. But, alright, let's get into so a tank is going to be utilized on a lot of more offensive teams, but all teams primarily going to be utilized on teams that look for bulk. So that means you might have a tank or two on a bulky balanced team, but primarily they're going to be fit onto balanced teams, bulky offense or hyper offense. I'd say tanks, you'll see mostly tanks in bulky offense and balanced teams. Now, looking at tanks, you're going to have, the biggest thing is going to generally be ability to take hits, deal out punishment without needing to set up. Tanks are Pokemon that utilize, they're very similar to wall breakers, but a lot of the time not having quite the attack, they're very similar to wall breakers, but a lot of times not having quite as much power, and also having a little bit more bulk. It's a subtle thing. A lot of these Pokemon function as both, depending on how you set them up. That said, these are Pokemon that are going to be able to take hits, and then proceed to punish back, not generally needing to set up on any turns, which is why they are so effective. Generally, they are going to be pretty slow Pokemon, so you really are going to have to rely on either forcing. Tanks are really good at forcing switches, honestly, because they threaten so many Pokemon. Because they very rarely have reliable recovery, you're really going to want to try to utilize them in a way that allows them to not take as more hits than they need to. That said, obviously their role is to take hits when the time comes. Alright, starting off, I'm going to be starting off with Assault Vest Azumarill. Azumarill can also run a pretty great Choice Band set. Honestly, all you really need to do is switch the item here. EVs would stay the same. And Thick Fat obviously should be huge power. And Azumarill hits a monstrous attack stat of what I believe like 150 is actually the equivalent of it, giving Azumarill a lot of offensive power. Really solid bulk with 180 defenses. Assault Vest really augmenting that special side. What I will say though is that if you want to go for the Choice Band set, you're going to get a lot more power out of this set, but you're going to kind of swap Azumarill over more towards a Wall Breaker role, which I'll probably get into another video. This is a role really focused and dedicated on being a tank, sponging up a special hit or two, and then really proceeding to retaliate hard. Going on, Hoop on Bound. You'll notice a lot of these Pokemon wear Assault Vests. That's because Assault Vest is a really great item on a lot of these Pokemon. Tanks generally don't need to set up, so that all this does is give them more special bulk, meaning that's what's so useful about them. But Hoop on Bound, this set itself was covered in my video on Hoop on Bound. Be sure to go and check that out. But this set can definitely take a massive beating on the special side. I opted for full HP investment, but you could definitely choose to invest in full special defense on any Pokemon wearing a Assault Vest, and by doing so, you really prioritize their ability to wall special hits. But that said, you're kind of sacrificing mixed bulk. With Hoop on Bound, that might not be a bad idea, because Hoop on Bound really can't take physical hits, but really can take special hits if you want to go down that route. But Drain Punch, Gunk Shots, and Headbutt Knockoff. I should mention on Azumarill actually, another move that you might want to substitute any of these moves in with is Superpower. Superpower really allowing you to hit Ferrothorn better than Knockoff. Ferrothorn being the one of the very few true counters to Azumarill, unless it's wearing Superpower, of course. So Hoop on Bound, this is a physical set. I tend to really opt for the physical set. The main reason being Gunk Shot can cover your fairy weakness, and Drain Punch allows you to get some sort of recovery in. Knockoff and Zen Headbutt being really useful moves as well. Hyperspace Fury is also obviously an option. If you wanted to go down the specially offensive route, I can recommend you a set for that right now. I would probably go Focus Blast. You're going to find a lot of power. Dark Pulse. You're going to find a lot of power in this set. And then probably from there, I think I'd probably obviously Psychic or Psyshock. I guess you can take your pick there. And then Signal Beam is a good option. Thunderbolt, and I saw I got Energy Ball up here. I would probably any of those would be great. Or Hidden Power Fire, Smack Ferrothorn. Although you have Focus Blast, Hidden Power Ice might be good. Who knows? Up to you. Conkeldurr is one of my favorite tanks, and it has been a staple on so many of my teams. Conkeldurr is just old faithful. Really doesn't get the credit it deserves for being able to just sponge up hits, dish out punishment. Conkeldurr very rarely shines. It's not the star, but you know, Conkeldurr is the guy in the back who's like holding it down. Like he does his job and he does it well. He doesn't need to do more than what's expected of him. But I really love this set. I really recommend you guys try to give Conkeldurr a try. He's obviously if he falls down to UU, he can still be used in OU, but that said, I really want people to understand how great Conkeldurr is with Drain Punch, Mach Punch, Ice Punch, Knockoff. It is a very predictable set. You can almost always know that this is going to be running this set. Ice Punch maybe being substituted for Fire Punch, but this set, with proper prediction, can just take names. A lot of Pokemon don't want to lose that item. Ice Punch really lets you do some damage, and it's got really fantastic bulk, 229, 226, 351, which is already great bulk for a physical Pokemon with a monstrous 416 attack stat, and Stab, Priority, Drain Punch being stabbed. That's great. And then with the Assault Vest, you're really boosting up your special defense. Conkeldurr's, you can replace these with any of the elemental punches. Hammer Arm is another option if you really want to opt for power, but I really like Drain Punch. Gives you some reliable options. Stone Edge can help you out if you predict Talon switch in. But also Knockoff is going to be hitting that Talonflame pretty well as well, along with any other flying type who may want to switch in. Landorus Therian, I'm going to be looking at Earthplate Landorus. While Landorus' stats don't really scream bulk necessarily, I mean, it doesn't scream like substantial bulk. It does have the stats to become tanky once invested into HP, primarily because of its ability to Intimidate, which lets it definitely weaken physical attackers and proceed to take them on if need be, and then retaliate really hard with Earthplate boosted Earthquakes, which are just fearsome. Is a fearsome attack. Stone Edge, U-Turn, Knockoff, all being great covered moves. Other options being maybe like Superpower. I think it's going to be the big one. If you wanted to run Explosion, you could, although I would not recommend that. Yeah, that's probably going to be what I recommend here is Superpower if you want to fill in. But this is probably the staple set. This set also works if you replace it with Choice Scarf and invest into speed. Looking at Tyranitar, I am running a fairly standard T-Tar set. You could easily replace this leftovers with Assault Vest and just give him the special bulk of a god. Like under sand with Assault Vest, you will never be broken on the special side. If you like, it will take forever to wear you down. Other options being, this is a Choice Scarf set. I know it's pretty popular, but I'm using Stone Edge, Pursuit, Earthquake, Ice Punch. You could definitely run this as a special set, but this set is primarily great at taking hits. Tyranitar has a lot of great natural bulk. Unfortunately, its typing really being a hindrance for it, really giving it a lot of weaknesses that Tyranitar wishes it didn't have, and really marginalizing its effectiveness. But that said, Tyranitar is definitely no joke and a dominating force in the OU metagame. Finally, I wanted to bring up a UU Pokemon who's definitely a star at this. This is going to be Chestnut. This is actually the wrong spread. I don't know why it's giving me this spread. But Chestnut's got great physical bulk. You can definitely sponge a hit on the physical side and hit back pretty hard. Chestnut is UU for a reason, but this set you can utilize a lot of Leech Seed, Spiky Shield. I am going to consider it a tank set just because of its offensive role and not needing to set up. But it has great survivability, which if you're looking for a tank that offers you survivability, you know, this is actually probably the best one on this list just because of Spiky Shield, Leech Seed, Drain Punch, and Leftovers all giving it such great recovery in total. So yeah, that's going to be the video. Hope that was helpful, guys. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, whatever you feel like doing is always greatly appreciated. I will see you guys later. Kraken Nation out.